It brings down a very famous statement of the Medrash Tanchuma, which over here the Alter Rebbe explains and Kabbalah goes into the concept of Shetachlis Brias Ha'olam Hazeh, that the purpose of creation and the whole reason why God created the world is for Shenesava HaKadosh Baruch Hu Liyas Leidira B'Tachtonim. That God had a desire to have an abode in the lower worlds. And that is the answer. If you have a question, why is there a world? Why did God need this world? If God is not affected by the world and everything to him is nothing, why is there a need of a world? So why would there be a purpose in the creation of a world? And the Medrash says that Nisav HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God had a desire, and you cannot ask a question on a desire. When even a human being has a desire, of a Yiddish expression of a taiva frekmenish kenshailas. On a taiva, you don't ask a question. I mentioned yesterday, al tam v'reach ein lihis vakeach. It's an expression. On taste and smell, you cannot have an argument. Why do I like a certain thing? Why do I desire? Why do I enjoy vanilla ice cream and you enjoy chocolate ice cream? Because that's not an argument. You cannot ask such a question. Because that's my taiva, that's my desire, that's my delight. And I delight in those kind of things. And so too, God had a desire. And you can't ask a question on why he had the desire. But now, in essence, the Medrash says, what was the purpose of creation? The purpose of the Torah in general is a concept of a purpose. The whole concept of the Torah was given to give a purpose to creation, not to give a reason, not to give you what is or say how is. Go figure that out. That will take you a lifetime. But the purpose of creation you have in the Torah. You have the whole Torah, 630 commandments, and the Torah says, and the Torah itself is the blueprint of the world. So you can look into the Torah and you can have the whole purpose of creation. And that's what the Torah came to the world for. So somebody asks a question, or you ask yourself a question. Why is this needed? And the answer is simple. 6 words. The Eibishter, God had a desire. When I say the Eibishter, I means God. That's the Yiddish word for God. Eibishter means one above. So get that, I'm just used to saying those words. God had a desire to have a abode in the lower worlds. So what is the lower worlds? There's many worlds. 7 heavens, the Talmud says. There are many worlds. Between each heaven goes 500, takes 500 years of journey. There's many, many worlds. And the lowest world is this world, and this physical world is called the lowest world. Even in the 4 worlds of in Kabbalah, we have the 4 worlds: Atzilus, the world of emanation; Bria, the world of creation; the world of formation; and then we have Alma Asiyah, the world of action. This is the lowest world. But in the lowest, you find the whole purpose of creation. Because all the upper worlds were all created that this world would come about. So you find the whole purpose in the whole concept of creation is specifically in the lowest world. We find another expression in Kabbalah. It says, "Not tchilasam b'seifat." The beginning is wedged in the end. So this, in the beginning, whatever the beginning is, Ein Sof, Atzmos, the essence of God, the infinity, is all in the end, and that's why you have the expression in the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Ein Od Milvadei." You find within this world the concept of Ein Od. You find within this world, specifically within this world, you find the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You cannot find anywhere the essence of God, but specifically in this tacht, in this lower world. This is a very powerful statement. And you have a lot is given to this statement, and here the Alter Rebbe tries to explain this medrash, the statement of the medrash, which is again a whole concept of the Torah is based on this aspect of this, specifically this lowest world, because we're always worried about going to Gan Eden. I know Jews have or the world has a what do you want to call it? Obsession with Gan Eden. Everybody's worried about Gan Eden. Everybody's worried about paradise. That's all we're worried about. Everybody's worried. Are we going to go to paradise? We're not going to go to paradise. And we're all in the unknown. And we forget about the world. The most important thing is not paradise. The most important thing is this world. And this is a paradise. This is the ultimate Gan Eden. A famous Maimon, the Rebbe, on the statement also of Shir HaShirim, who says, Basi Lagani, what is the garden of God? What is the Gan Eden of God? Is this world. When you say that Adam and Eve were created in Gan Eden, where's Gan Eden? Where is Gan Eden? God took the earth and he created them in Gan Eden. In Gan Eden. Where is that? Iraq. I don't know. The Gemara says Pumbedit. I don't know. Someplace in the world. There's a place, Sambatya. There's a whole Gemara that the God put a protection that you can't get into Gan Eden. There's a river you have to cross. There's rocks flying up and down, and it's very hard to get into that place. So Gan Eden, what we call paradise, that's not the paradise of the Gan Eden in the Torah, in the beginning of creation. The Gan Eden is in this world. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Gesundheit. Wherever it is. No, because Gan Eden, no. Boca's Gan Eden, my friend. This is Gan Eden. This is where Gan Eden is. You don't have to go far for Gan Eden. You have to make every place Gan Eden. You have to make every place where you go in the world, you have to make it a Gani, my garden. You have to turn every place in the world into a Gan Eden. Because it's right over here. You don't have to go to Gan Eden. So we call paradise is where the where your body, the soul leaves the body. That's not Gan Eden. That's not true paradise. That is a spiritual reality. Over here we have the spiritual and the physical reality, the true aspect of the true revelation of God in the physical reality. That is where Gan Eden is. That's where God had a taiva. That's where God had the desire to dwell. Not in Gan Eden, souls without bodies, but actually God had the desire, souls with bodies. That they would that they would come in harmony together and they would unite together and become one and reveal one another. That's where true paradise is. That's where true Gan Eden is. So stop looking for something when it's right in front of your nose. You know, it's right in front of us. We don't have to go far to find Gan Eden, to find paradise. It's right over here. Not on the golf course exactly. That's the problem. We're looking in the wrong places. So therefore, to explain the matter how, however, as follows. Before the world was created, he was one alone, one and unique, ruling all space in which he created the universe. It is still the same now. God does not change. God does not change. There's no concept of upper and low. I skipped a couple of lines over here. But he surely to him, sorry, go back a couple of lines, but surely to him the distinction of upper and lower has no validity, for he pervades all worlds equally. If you go to the concept, you understand the concept of God, God has no upper and lower. God has no tachtonim, has no lower worlds. To God, the upper and the lower are the exact same thing. Nothing, when you say there's an upper world and there's a lower world, you're making a distinction. Now you're making a concept of time and space. There's an upper world and a lower. Whether it's in space or in time, there's a concept of an upper and a lower. But to God, there's no concept of upper and lower. And therefore, there's no aspect of separation, of division or of space and time to God. You can't give a space and time to God. God is infinite. You can't even call him infinite. He's above infinite.
Hierarchy is one superior to the other?
In time and space, there is a hierarchy. You have a king and you have a subject. You have in the Jewish tradition, you have a Kohen, you have a Levi, and you have a Yisrael. And there are 3 different levels of Jews. And even though they're different levels of Jews, they're all the same. The different responsibilities in these 3 different Jews. And you have a king. That's another level of in the Jews. You have a Talmid Chacham, you have a sage. That's another level. And you have men, you have women, you have adults, you have children. And you have different categories, different responsibilities, different levels. But to God, there's no difference between a Kohen and a Levi and Israel and a king and a regular Jew and a man and a woman and a child and an adult. There's no difference. There's no concept of separation. So where there is separation is to us. In a world of time and space, in a world of where there is a concept of above and below, then there is a distinction to us in the difference between what's higher and what's lower, what comes first and what comes second, what is my priority, and what comes after my priority. So the Torah wanted a Jewish person's priority. It should be a priority. His priority should be spirituality, and his secondary should be physicality. Not that he should run away from the physical, not that he should destroy it, but he should use it out for its priority. And actually, by using out the physical for its priority, you're actually enhancing the physical. You're not destroying the physical, you're actually bringing it out its purpose. So by using the tachton, that's what you call by using the lower one, you're actually giving its purpose to something that is seemingly lower. But really, something that's seemingly lower comes within it greater heights. Something that's seemingly lower comes within it sometimes greater concepts. You have in the beginning of Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says the neshama can come into a body of a not a righteous individual. God is the one who decides which neshama comes into which body. So you can have seemingly a body that is seemingly not so perfect, and then within it you have an unbelievable soul. That's the capability, and that's a possibility. You see, therefore, you see great righteous people came from non-such great individuals, and you see actually great individuals have children that are not so righteous. You have last week's portion, Abraham and Isaac and Rebecca have an Esau. Right? So how is that possible? Because that's an neshama that God gives this child. That he gives him these challenges. Esau creates him an Esau. So it says, Rashi says, from the time of conception, from the time they conceived and they're going to come out from your stomach, they're going to be, one is going to go to its righteousness and one will go to its wickedness. And that doesn't make one better over the other. Because they'll both have their purposes and they both have their purpose in creation of God's creation and why they came down to the world for. There's a famous story in the prophets. Ezekiel, right? Was a king. No, Chizkiyahu was a king. He was a prophet. And then he knew that he was going to have a terrible child, Menashe. He knew that he was going to have a child that's going to ultimately put a statue in the Beis HaMikdash. So he decided not to get married. Right? He knew the outcome of the story. So he decided that he was not going to get married. So there's a famous story that the prophet comes to him and tells him, why you're not getting married. He says, you know and I know I'm going to have a terrible child. That's gonna split the Jewish nation. It's gonna bring the Jewish people sin. Menashe, famous evil king in Jewish history, and the prophet says to him, "That's not your business, right? That's not your business. That you don't mix into God's business. Your business is to get married, to have children, and do your best to bring them up to the best of your capabilities. That's your business. What happens after that is not your business. Don't mix into God. And that's what he did. He got married, and he had a child, Menashe,
Did he have to name
who
him?
grew with a terrible child, who did exactly what he knew he was going to do. Hemet Salameir put a statue of a idolship in the Beis Hamikdash, made the entire Jewish nation sin, etc., etc. Exactly what his father knew he was going to do.
Did he have to name him Menashe? If he
It was
knew-
not the name that's important. It's the name.
name
His name is Zalman. We did the same thing. It's not the name. Menashe. That was his name. Not important what his name was.
He didn't know his name in advance.
No. He knew he was going to have a child that's going to do terrible things.
Okay.
Actually, the Gemara says that he was once walking. He actually tried to even stop it after. He was walking he had two children. He was a very tall guy. He was walking in his courtyard, and he had his two children on his two shoulders. And one child said, "Oh, that he was a bald head. I think it was a baldy, Cheskio." He said, "Oh, I think our father's head would be a good place to put an idol on top of it. It would be nice and smooth there." And he threw both of them off his shoulders. And one of his kids died. But Menashe survived. God has the last say. Menashe survived, and he did what he did. So you can't, we cannot understand. We can't understand God's ways in general. It's hard to understand, the way what God wants. From the situations of life. Yeah, that's what you say Gam Zulateva, everything that happens ultimately is for what God wanted to happen in the world, even though we cannot comprehend it.
Rabbi, I have
Yeah.
a question. You're saying that the soul, God already knew ahead of time that his soul was not, in other words, that
He did tshuva, Menashe, ultimately.
okay. All right.
Menashe did tshuva.
Did tshuva.
He did, he repented. Actually, the Gemara says that Menashe did tshuva, but none of the angels they blocked up all the gates of Gan Eden. They didn't want to let him into Gan Eden. So God had to drill a hole underneath someplace to Kizeh HaKavod to get him into Gan Eden. So you do tshuva.
So when we're born, though, and as we mature, we still have that free will of, so you're saying this was predestined by God, or did he
No.
have a choice to make?
No, he had a choice. He did tshuva. He should have done tshuva a little earlier.
Oh, okay. All right. I see what
He was given. Everybody. You cannot say I was born a wicked and therefore I'm going to be. Esav should have done tshuva. Esav was a Jew. Esav should have repented. He should have done tshuva. He should have repented. He didn't. He didn't repent. Ultimately, Esav will repent. And the end of times. That's the prophecy. That ultimately, the Esav Edom is Rome. This is the Gullus of Rome. We're right now what's in the Talmud called the Gullus of Rome, which is the Gullus of Edom, which is the exile of Edom, which is the exile of Esav. So this is this exile, and the exile needs to change by the rectification of Edom, of where Edom is going to do what is right. He's going to repent, and he's going to do the right. He's going to do what he needs to do.
Why do people name their children after people from the Torah that were not?
Menashe was a beautiful name. Menashe was one of the sons of Yosef. His name was Menashe too.
Oh, okay. So there was another one. Because I always think
There's a
of
lot of
Judith,
them.
which was Esau's
Menashe.
wife. I mean, he was a bad guy, and he married Judith.
What do you want from the wife? She was a wonderful woman.
There's another Judas.
Right, there's a lot of Judas, and there was a lot of the Menashe was one of Yosef's sons was also Menashe. Can't blame the name. I mean, I'm sure everybody had had a name out there that was not so great, and everybody had a name out there that was great.
Isn't it true that in the merit of Menashe is when the third temple is going to come up because he had no jealousy for his brother?
That's the different Menashe.
No, Joseph Menashe.
Joseph's Menashe, not
Yeah,
the
that
Menashe I'm
was
talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that true?
yeah. It says ultimately that's gonna.
In the merit
In the merit of-
of the way
yeah.
Menashe
'Cause
was,
the-
because of all the brothers, he never had jealousy
Right.
when
Menashe Ephraim, when I split it up, right?
Right.
Correct. Yeah? You wanted to say something?
Well, she just, it was a different Menashe, but when you bless your children,
Yisim Chalakim ke Menashe Ephraim, right? Right.
But Ephraim,
Ephraim and Menashe. Because Ephraim, right, because they didn't have jealousy even though. Right.
so can I ask you another question about Ephraim and idol worship?
Ephraim?
Wasn't there a period of time where his tribe idol worshipped?
There was a period of time, I think almost every tribe idol worshipped. The Menashe actually hit the 10 tribes, and that's why they were ultimately taken away from, they disappeared. That was by Menashe. That was his time. It was Vichti Yisrael, and then the Assyrians came and they took away those 10 tribes, and they disappeared. So we're left over today with the 2 tribes,
But they
which
found
is
them all.
I don't know if you want to.
I have something.
I know, but that's a separate issue. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not a historian.
The B'nai Menashe are in Israel.
I have no problem. It's Gesundheit. My pleasure. I have no problem with that. I don't know. I'm not a historian. I'm not a. Don't know if it's possible. It's true. I don't know. It could be. Because there's a whole argument in the Gemara if these 10 tribes will merit the world to come. You know, it is an argument in the Talmud. It's in Sanhedrin, the argument these 10 tribes will merit the world to come. That means will they merit this kind of, some hold they will and some hold they won't. So if they are the children of Menashe, it must be that they'll be according to those that hold that they will. So hopefully they will.
They're supposed to be
I don't know.
very righteous in Israel too.
All Jews are righteous, Baruch Hashem. So, okay. No, I have no problem. They said Chinese. All Chinese are Jewish now. Yeah. Everybody wants to be Jewish now. That means Mashiach's coming. Everybody wants to be Jewish. So, we got to get the Jews to want to be Jewish first, and then. Let's get the Jews to be Jewish. Okay, but it's all good. It says, that's what it says. Everybody should, all those that want to be Jewish should convert before Mashiach comes, because once the Messiah comes, you're out of luck. So, so you better do it ASAP.
Beat the rush.
So,
Black Friday sale.
okay, let's go back to the Tanya. So you understand, because in the place self-led by Jews, the aspect of a Jew, Yisrael afal pishachata Yisrael who, how is it possible for a Jew to be even if how can the Mishnah the verse say that even though a Jew sins he's still a Jew, because a Jew has a neshama, he has a chelek elakam imal mamish, he has a part of God within him, and therefore, in a way, to a Jew, there's also no aspect of him taking away his essence. Able to put it in a Jew too, the concept, this aspect of what's written in Tanya, that to a Jew, if you're looking from above, he's a Jew, whether he sins, whether he does everything right, whether he doesn't do anything right, he's still a Jew. And there's no difference between one Jew and another Jew. We're all av echad l'kulanu. We all have one God. We all have one Torah. We all are one being. We all are one entity. In the Tanya, in the chapter 32, if you remember, the Alter Rebbe said over there, it's impossible to separate from the soul perspective. It's impossible to make a distinction between one Jew and another Jew. So you could be Moshe Rabbeinu, or you could be the biggest sinner, Menashe. It doesn't make a difference. Menashe was a Jew, and Moshe Rabbeinu was a Jew. And into their soul aspect, they were equal. And they both were part of Am Yisrael. And at the same moment, self-understood, if you look from the bottom up, there's a big difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and Menashe. There's a great distinction. Moshe Rabbeinu was the greatest leader the Jewish people ever had, and Menashe made the Jewish people sin. So it depends the way you look at things. That's what the Alter Rebbe writes in the chapter 32 of Tanya. If you be able to look at a Jewish soul, then you would love every Jew. You love every person. Actually, you love every human being. If you be able to look at their neshama, you'd be able to look from above. You would see only their good. Well, we don't look from above. We look from below. And if you look from below, you look through the physical lens of things. Then you have a distinction between one person and another person. Then we're different. So we have to be able to look at our oneness, our godly side of us, which just like to God, there's no difference in distinctions in up and below. To God, there's no difference in Moshe Rabbeinu and anyone around this table. They're all equal to him. So to us, we should be all equal. Yeah.
Wasn't it the Rebbe that said, someone wrote to him, and he came back with a response saying, talking about Orthodox, and that we should not label, that we should
Right.
not look at that in that way?
Yeah. Labels on it.
Titles.
We should look at purposes in life, not purposes. We all have a different. Actually, every human being has a different purpose. And my purpose needs to be developed and expressed in a certain way, and so do you. What is your purpose? Don't look at but I was born this way. I was brought up this way. I live this way. That's where we create distinctions and labels. I was born Orthodox. You were maybe not born Orthodox. You were born Jewish. You didn't come out and say, "Oh, here's an Orthodox baby. Here's a Reformed baby. Here's a conservative baby." You didn't come out that way. You came out with nothing. You came out as the way you are. And, you came out who you are, and that you're a Jew. And that's a simple thing. That's a very simple concept. And, or you came out human. You have to be able to look past that. And if we can be able to look past that, so we look at the garments too much. As he says of it, you were looking at the garments. To God, there's no garments, there's no levels, there's no distinctions. It's all one concept. It's the concept of purpose. The Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu lives in the purpose of creation. Every person needs to do that purpose in a different way, because then it will be a boring world if we do it all the same way. And therefore, we need to all do it through our own character, through our own talents, through our own individualism. But we all need to do the same purpose, because God gives us that purpose. That was a powerful class we had on Thursday. That class of it was a very good class. That's where he also brought up this concept and more this aspect. And that's why the class was the Torah cannot be changed. God cannot be changed. Torah cannot be changed. The law cannot be amended, because it's not a law that is there to keep people straight and narrow. It's there to give a human being a purpose in life. So the law in the law of the world, it's for the people, by the people, and that's what it should be, and therefore it can be amended. We can amend the Constitution, right? We can do that, and thank God, because it's for the people. The Torah is not for the people, by the people. Torah is for God, by God. There's no elections. You can't outvote something. You can't amend something, because you can't amend your purpose. because you didn't create the purpose. You can't change that. The Torah is not there. The Torah is there to give you the essence of life. Not there to tell you, oh, this is, you need to do this to be a mensch. That the government needs to tell you maybe how to be a mensch. The Torah is there to tell you how to be a godly individual, how to fulfill God's purpose in the world.
But it's the side effect that makes you a mensch.
And that's, you need both. You need both. That's why you look in Bukiet, it says that Jews should pray for government, that there should be government. You need a government, because if not, you have chaos. So government is there to protect people's liberty. And people should have liberty, and government should protect that liberty. Because you need government to make sure people don't, really people should all be mentioned, and everybody should be wonderful people. And everybody should act good. But it doesn't work that way, right? Because humans are humans. And if you're not going to have government, they're going to hurt other people. And you need to have a government to protect good people from people that are not going to follow, not going to be a mensch. And thank God, because there's always going to be a mention in the world. There's always going to be people that are going to hurt other people. And that's the way it is. Therefore, you vote them out. Vote them out. You can vote them out. If you have bad government, get rid of them. 100%. And that's the beauty of the Constitution. The Constitution says it itself. If the government becomes dictator, get rid of the government. The people need to get together and get rid of the government. Because the government is there to protect the people. The Torah and God is there to give you a purpose in creation, not to make you a mensch. If you do your purpose, you'll be a mensch. If you'll be a mensch, lav dafka, you do your purpose. You understand? You could be a mensch and a decent human being, but you're not to accomplish your purpose in creation. So you're a mensch. You're a nice person. So what does that have to do with the purpose of creation? That you're a nice person? Nothing. Zilch. What the purpose of creation is you have to find out from the person, from the entity who made the purpose of creation, to what the purpose of creation is. And that's why God gave us a Torah, to give us the purpose of creation. So what's the purpose of creation? This is what he answered right away in this beginning of Tanya. The purpose of creation is God wanted a Jew to bring godliness to the world, and each and every one according to their capability. Get to work. Bring godliness to the world. If you find out, here God gave you 613 ways of bringing godliness to the world. How can anybody come up, and the Torah says that you shall not add or you shall not subtract, right? Because how can you add? I know the purpose in creation. I'm going to add something. I'm going to say this is the purpose. What do I know what the purpose is? I created the world to know its purpose. How can I subtract something? I know that I can decide that this is not needed for the purpose of the world. That's a mistake we make. We look at the Torah, we say, oh, well, we don't need this law anymore. You know the purpose of the world to know that you need this law, you don't need this law. If you think the law is, again, kosher is there to help, we should be healthier. Then, how come to be healthy? Okay, we're healthier without it. We have pills, so we can eat it, and then we take some more things. Right? Then they didn't have refrigerators. Now we have refrigerators. We come with all these, so in essence, you say God wanted to protect the people. The Torah was the Torah was not to protect it. God is not the government. If you don't do the law, nothing's going to happen. The world's not going to fall apart. The world's not going to fall apart. You know why? Because there'll always be people that are going to do the purpose. There'll always be Jews that are going to do the purpose. So every Jew has the opportunity to do its purpose or not. That's your choice. The world's going to go on. The world will continue.
Question. As a Jew, if you recognize this and you don't follow through with what happens to your neshama? So we do lose it.
What's going to happen? Nothing happens. You have not fulfilled the purpose of your soul. Your soul is lost. Loss of that. It might have to come back to gain its purpose. Because that's what it's created for. The Baal Shem Tov said, a neshama can come down to this world to do one good deed. That could be its purpose. To do one good deed. You don't know what that deed is. That's the problem. That's the catch-22. You don't know what the deed is. That's why you got to do you should do every mitzvah at least one time. You should do it more, but at least one time. Right? The Rebbe would go beg every Jew to put on tefillin, every man to put on tefillin once at least. Put on tefillin once. You don't know. That might be your mitzvah. Every woman should light the candle. Every Jew should control themselves once not to eat non-kosher. Every Jew should do every mitzvah once. At least once. Don't I'm on a camera. At least once. You should do it always, but at least once. You know what I mean? Do it once. Don't mitzvah, the expression of the Talmud. Mitzvah bali yadcha atach mitzena. A mitzvah comes to your hand. Don't push it away. You never know. That might be your purpose. Why did God bring you this mitzvah? Why did you meet this person? Why did the person ask you for something? You never know. That might be the journey of your soul. You never know. What am I? I'm not a soul. I'm not a soul professor.
Soul man.
Zalman, I know. We all struggle with the same thing because we all have our souls hidden. That's like God is hidden. See, God specifically hid this thing, hid it, because if He did not hide it, it wouldn't be our own journey. It will be God's journey only. God specifically hid it, so now it becomes my journey. But really, it was always the journey. It was not like I didn't accomplish anything, really, because it was always that journey. But God wanted I should feel accomplished. I should walk out and say, wow, look at that. I didn't have to do it. I did it. I feel like a big person now, an accomplished individual. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. The Gemara says, the Talmud says, a person wants 1 cubic of his own success and 9 cubics of somebody else's. I don't know today anymore, but in general, that was the, person wants his own success. Doesn't want somebody else's success. It's human nature to want your own success. God put it in the DNA of a person to be able to do. Why? Because that's in essence the same concept of this. God wanted a person. God understood. He put it in the agenda of a person that he would feel good in his successes. That he would feel good in the challenges. He would feel good in the tachten, in the something that is seemingly lower than him, or trying to drag him down, and he has the capability of uplifting it. He has the capability of revealing its true entity. That's what God wanted. God created that in any relationship. God put 2 people together, and we're hopefully enhancing each other. We're hopefully making each other better. And we should tell each other that, right? You made me a better person. Without you, I wouldn't have been the person I was. You gave me something to my life, right? You tell that to your significant other, or you tell that to a friend. You say, "Wow, you've given me something in life, right? I wouldn't have had that. That's an unbelievable way of expressing." And so too we express that. What do you think? All that's the concept of prayer. Prayer is where we tell God, "We need you." That's it. And that we need the Eibishter. We're secondary. We need you. Without God, so that's the truth. What God needs to be told that. Without that, he doesn't know the truth. God's the creator, and every creation needs its creator. So God knows that. So what do we need to pray? We need to pray for ourselves to be able to learn to express that. That we're not a creator, we're creation, and we need HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we need God for all these things. For everything that we have in life, we need that. And thank God that He's given us these capabilities, these talents, and the capabilities of life in general. That's a recognition, self-recognition of who I am and what I really am, what is my essence. And maybe then I can find my purpose. The problem is, if I think I'm my own self-made person, then it's hard for me then I think I'm my own self-made man. I think I'm my own God. So now I've created my own purpose. And that purpose never makes me happy, seemingly. Why? Because it's not your purpose, it's not true purpose. The true purpose, you have to go to the one who created me, gave me this purpose. The neshama, what's the purpose of my soul? And I cannot know the purpose of the soul without learning Torah to tell me the purpose of my soul.
So if we are asking what is the purpose of my soul,
I just gave it to you.
no, but what I'm saying is then we are on the right path because we are trying to connect to Hashem,
Right.
and we are trying, in other words, study of Torah.
We're trying to connect to try to find ourselves. And that most humans, and especially Jews, are always in search of themselves. And stop searching so much. No, but we like to search. We don't like to find it. We don't like to find it. You cannot handle the truth. We don't want the truth. Some people love to be in doubt. They like it. You know? I don't like to be in doubt. The Torah wants you to be out of doubt. So even if you're doing the wrong thing, do it out of doubt. Don't do a negative thing and I don't know what I'm doing. If I'm doing a bad thing, I know I'm doing it. Right? Then you can be honest. Then you can fix it. But if I'm living a life of doubt, so basically I've given away my choice. I've given away my humanity. I've given away my free choice. And God didn't want any human being to give away his free choice, not to anybody. Not even to him. If God wanted to give it, that we should give away a free choice, he would reveal himself and then we would give away our free choice. Then we would not be in doubt. There's no human being that's not in doubt. Everybody you have a brain. You always think, well, who said it's true? That's the brain. The brain will always say that. Who said it's true? Who said this is the right guy? Who said? Oh, I decided, but maybe not. Right? Is there a person that is 100% out of doubt in anything that in life? Yeah, you look at your wife every day, you say, wow, this couldn't be somebody else? Is that possible? You want to try me out? I don't know. Is it possible? You're supposed to be out of doubt. Yeah, this is the only one. Every day, 40 years later, this is the only one. Right? No doubt. So the truth is that why you have to be out of doubt? Why you say this is the only one, even though you just had a big fight? Because you are soul connected. That's a Jew has to say we are soul connected. We're one. We're one. So if we're one, so what if you had a fight? We're still one. How can it be two people that are not going to have a fight? It's not possible. You're living in Disneyland. You're not living in the real world. How can it be two entities not going to have a fight? How can it be two friends and not going to have a fight? An argument.
Especially if they're Jewish.
Right. Look at the Talmud. You're entitled to have a fight. You're humans. We need to have a... How can it go... There has to be a struggle with faith. There has to be a struggle with faith. If you're human and you're not a righteous tzaddik, you have to have a struggle. If you don't have a struggle, then you're dead. So if you don't have a struggle, so either you're righteous or you're wicked. The wicked have no struggle. They just walked away. The righteous have no struggle because they have unbelievable belief. we're not righteous. We're not hopefully wicked. We're what the Tanya calls a middleman. And we struggle. We struggle with faith. We struggle with our doubts. So therefore, we as middle people, as normal people, righteous are crazy and wicked are crazy. We're normal. We, the normal people of the world, normal Jews, need to struggle. Struggle with our faith. Struggle with God. Struggle with each other. Struggle with the Jews. This is life. But we never should lose our purpose. That's the problem. When the struggle brings us down, that's where it's not the right thing to do. So we always need to keep our purpose. We always need to learn what the purpose of life is. What is the agenda? You always need to keep the eye on the ball, as they say. You always need to keep the eye, like the story I think the Chavetz Chaim said, the tight walker. The tight walker always needs to keep his focus on the pole at the end of the rope. If he's going to lose his concentration to what's happening around him, he's going to fall down. So he needs to keep his eye on the end of the pole, at the end of the rope. And he got to, and it's sometimes a very thin rope. It's sometimes a very tough walk. And you got to keep it, because if you don't, you're easily distracted. You easily.
Many times that it is apparent that part of our existence is that no one escapes unscathed. And each one of us has a different something. And no matter how perfect anyone's life appears to be, when you look closely, there's always some source somewhere. Nobody gets away free and clean.
Right.
It's not our purpose.
You know what? We should all have spiritual tzaddis, not any else, not any other tzaddis. This should be our tzaddis. We should have spiritual tzaddis. We should struggle with our spiritual life, not with anything else, not with our physical lives. The Frierdiker Rebbe once said, a hole in the body, small hole in the body is a big hole in the soul. Because in humans, a small hole in the body, tzaddis, by a person, affects not only his physical life, it affects his spiritual life, self-understood. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu said himself, Lama Reisa Lama Zeh. He said, you wonder I should come and talk to Jews about faith in God when you are giving them tzaddis. You're giving them pain and suffering. How am I supposed to talk to them about God when they're in slavery? Get them out of slavery, and then we'll talk about God. You cannot be in slavery in physical tzaddis. So therefore, that's why it says, do the expression of the Rebbe going, do a tova yid. Do a favor somebody else first, and then worry about his spiritual life. Do him a favor first. Do him a physical favor. Instead of worrying about so much about his neshama, worry about his guf. Worry is about his guf, about his body. And maybe you worry about his guf, his physical side of him, then you can start worrying about the spiritual side of him. But if he's physically unhealthy, so to say, he physically has problems, how are you supposed to give him a spiritual existence when he's struggling with his physical life? And therefore, it's important to us. Avas Yisrael. That's why Avas Yisrael. Avas Yisrael, to love one another, to help one another, to be there for one another. Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. Either its expression, this is the most important precept of the Torah, or, as Hillel said, this is the Torah and the rest is commentary. Because if you cannot help a person, you cannot love another person, then how are you supposed to have a spiritual, in this world? Maybe you can have it in Gan Eden, a spiritual existence. But in this world, which the Torah was given to humans of this world, how are you supposed to have that Torah existence if you're not a mensch, if you cannot be, if you don't love one another, if you cannot help one another?
One of the great psychologists of the last century was Maslow, and he created the hierarchy of needs. And he basically said, if you're stuck at the bottom, that's all you can think about: survival, existence, food. But as you move up the hierarchy of needs, you reach a point where you're self-actualized, where you are what you are, and you're everything you can be, because that's what you must be. So it's really a very godly concept, and the separation of the spiritual from the physical.
But actually, I don't know that philosophy, but actually in this concept over here, actually in the physical is, and in this concept, the Sava Kodesh Baruch Hu, Liza B'dira B'tachtoinin, in this aspect, this statement that God had a will or a desire dwelling in this lower world, that means that really you find godliness is actually in the lowest part of the world. So therefore, it says, in a place where a Baal Tshuva stands, even a righteous man cannot stand. So Baal Tshuva means a person who went down and sinned. And he rectifies it, he fixes it. He brings down a level of godliness even that a righteous man cannot bring down, cannot develop. Understand that concept? So it's actually, that's why a Rasha, a wicked person, if you want to consider yourself a wicked person, let's say a person, wants to consider himself, he's a wicked person, he's not a righteous person. He's a wicked person. He's sinned, does the opposite. Then fix it, and you should be happier than even a righteous person. The point is to fix it. A person should not go say, I'm a wicked person, therefore I'm going to continue to be wicked. A person should say, I'm a wicked person, therefore I'm going to fix it. I can only fix it if I went to a place where it needs to be fixed. A righteous person never went to any place that needs to be fixed. A person like us that have done maybe sins, negative things in life, we need to fix it. As I said, I always say that says expression, you can make a mistake. A human being can make a mistake, and he'll always make a mistake, but never make the same mistake. Right? Because then you're a fool. You're always going to make a mistake. Make a new mistake. A different mistake.
The definition of insanity is repeating the same
Right.
process, expecting a different outcome.
Gemara says expression, Rishoyim meleim charata. Wicked always say, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. We're saying I'm sorry for the same thing over and over again.
That's Einstein, what you said. He said that.
Oh, yeah?
Interesting.
Everything's in the Torah. You don't got to go to Einstein. You can find everything in the Talmud. That's the beautiful. That's the beauty.
The beautiful thing about him was
He was a Jew. That was the beautiful thing about him. That's the beautiful thing about him. He was a Jew. Finish. End the story.
very intelligent stuff.
Because he was a Jew.
There you go.
That's it. So it all comes down to that. He was a Jew. That's the beauty, my friends. This concept of the Sava Kodesh Baruch Dir Tatenim is that the God wanted a dwelling place in the lowest, is that a Jew, is that every one of us that might say that we're the lowest. Oh, we are not so high. Oh, look at that guy, he's very high. I'm not that high. That's the opposite. You should be happy you're not that high. Now you can make it higher. That guy could not make it higher. Make something that you are saying is low. You can make it higher. Develop it. Now you might say, "Oh, but God put me in this situation. Why did God do this? He gave me something that other person." Well, God, if God gave you that situation, or gave me that situation, put me in, so to say, in a lower situation, pushed me in a lower situation, tragedy or whatever, that means what? God wants you that you should. Well, he's out to get you. He was out to hurt you. No, he was out to tell you that you have the capability to uplift the situation. You have the capability to make this situation into a positive reality. And if you do it, you'll see that you have that capability. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. That's fine too. You're entitled to be the victim, because I did victimize you. So you're entitled to be the victim, but where's that going to get you? No place. So therefore, I'm telling you, I put you as a victim to make it, because I wanted that you should to have the choice and know that you should do it. Make that lower place into something, turn it into something positive. Take that negative and turn it into a positive thing. You took the Jews in the past 2 weeks, took a negative, and we do that. And you take a negative, nobody's arguing with the negative, it's a tragedy, but you got to turn it into a positive. It's got to be turned into a positive. You cannot live in a negative. We cannot just continue to just live and wallow in negativity. Nobody gains out of it. Evil just gains out of it if you continue to wallow in evil. You need to take everything that is negative and try to turn it into positive. And I believe that the Eibusher gives us all the koyach, the strength to be able to do that, because God put you in the negative. God put me in the negative. God put me in the tachta. What do you want to call a tachta, lower? God made me lower. He brought me down. He brought me down, right? Unless I did it myself, but if I was brought down because I have the capability to bring something out greater in this down place. And every person needs to find that strength. Because that's the purpose. If you understand there's a purpose in life, that's how you go back to. God gives us the purpose. And if we can connect to that purpose, then the purpose never changes. It doesn't make a difference where I am. So that's what the expression in Rambam, he said, Torah hazu lo tia mechlefes. This Torah will never change. Humans will change. You're going to go, right? We're not the same Jews like we're in the desert. We're not the same Jews that came to Israel. We're not the same Jews from 50 years ago. We all have the same purpose. The purpose has never, ever changed. So the humans have changed. The purpose hasn't changed. So too in life. When I was a certain age, I was a certain age. When I grew up, I was in a different kind of a situation. When I grew up, then I went through different things in life. Things changed. I'm not the same person that I was 20 years ago or 50 years ago. Different realities have changed. I didn't have changed my purpose. My purpose in life has not changed. Simple purpose. To be the best Jew I could be. That's the purpose. Everything else is for that purpose.
Rabbi, there's such a great story. A young man who was engaged to a non-Jew goes to the Rabbi and sits down with the Rabbi and asks his advice. And the Rabbi says, I'm so jealous of you.
Right.
You remember this story?
Yes, famous story.
Famous story.
Why?
Why is he so jealous?
So he said, I'm jealous of you because I was never given that challenge. He says, I never had a challenge to want to marry a shiksa. So I was never given that challenge. So if you were given that challenge, so that means that God trusts you more than he trusts me. God trusts you, you can overcome the challenge. I always say, you take a Jew from a shot and put him in Boca, he'll fall apart. Okay, well, I'm about to survive here. That you are living in Boca, I mean, God trusts you. You can do better. Right? You're in Boca. You could be just like the best Jew you could be. You don't have to live in Meir Shadim. And you don't have to live there. You can live right here. The Meir Shadim Jew, put him here, he'll fall apart. Won't be able to live here. Won't be able to survive. So that God put you here shows you that God trusts you. God trusts you. He can trust you to be here and still be the best that you can be. And there's no excuse that, I could have, if I'll be someplace else, if I live in Israel, if I've been born like this, or been brought up like that, or won the lottery, or married this guy, married that girl. I'd be no. So Narishkeit. Narishkeit. What?
For us, this is gonna be done.
This is Gan Eden, Boca, my friend. There's nothing better. This is paradise. But this is Tachten. This is the lowest level of paradise. It's paradise, but this is Tachtonim. This is the lowest level. And why? What are we doing in Boca? We're doing in Boca to come on a Sunday morning and learn Chassidus, and not to come and learn some Torah and do a mitzvah and meet a Jew here in Boca and give him an elevator, give him a spark, or wake it up a spark, and wake up on our own sparks. That's what we're doing here in Boca, and that's what we got to do. And everything else is wonderful. You know what? Everything. If each and every one. Let me tell you something. If each and every one of us would understand our purpose, everything else would be easy in life. Because God wants you to be a human being also. You have to go to work. You have to deal with with whatever, your neighbors, and with politics, and with everything else, all the other Narishkeit and crazy things that are going on in our daily life. But if you have a purpose, everything else is all secondary. Some things are chatter, some things are just there for entertainment, some things are there for enhancement, for delight in life. But it doesn't change. It will never change who I am and what my agenda is in life and my purpose is in life. And therefore, they become secondary in life. And they don't become so overpowering in my life. And even negativity, and that's really even the negativity, Chas Shalom. Tzaddis, which God says to Moshe Rabbeinu, when he says to him, why are you doing bad to the Jews? He said, don't worry, the Jews will see that everything that I'm doing is all for their own glory. It might take them time, but they'll ultimately see that. What?
I thought my only purpose was to make Mrs. Klugman happy.
That is your purpose. That's not your godly purpose, but that is your. The truth is that is your purpose. Your neshama was half without your wife, and therefore it is your purpose to make your other part of your soul happy. And that's your purpose. That is 100% your purpose. You cannot be happy without your other part of your neshama happy. It's not possible. It's not possible. No, but I'm saying you spiritually, it's not possible. It's not possible to be happy if your wife's not happy. Not because she's going to make you miserable. That's not the point. You should make your wife happy, not because if not, there's going to be repercussions. You should make your wife happy because by making her happy, you're making yourself happy. Because she's part of your soul. And she's making the same things with God. Since I'm a part of God, by making God happy, I'm making myself happy. It's not the point of God. I'm making God happy because what's going to be the response? I'm going to go to Gehenna, I'm going to go to hell, or, the lightning will come down. God is a loving God, like my wife. I can, and she's still nice. Hopefully, she is. Right? Hopefully you married a person, even though you're not so perfect, she still loves you. Right? She looks past all your Narishkeit, and she still loves you. The Abish is the same way. You do Narishkeit, and he still loves you. So you abuse the system. See, we have wives that let us abuse the system. And they love us. The Eibishter also lets us abuse the system because he loves us. I serve the Eibishter because I'm serving, because I realize without the better half, he's part of me, and by making God happy, he's making myself happy, making my soul happy, and fulfilling the purpose of creation. The purpose of God's creation, the purpose of my creation, the purpose of my existence, the purpose of the world's existence is I'm doing. So you have to, it's a, what do they call that? A paradigm shift. Mm-hmm. You got to think different. The Torah wants you to think different. And I think it gave us a good word, the purpose. We hear the purpose. Purpose of creation. Think as the concept of purpose, not the gain or the give. You don't get married to gain. You get married to fulfill a destiny. That's how you got married, to fulfill a destiny. To fill together a destiny. to create a whole different reality. That's why you got married. If I got married only for what I gained, so I'm going to make a list. What did I gain? Oh, I thought I'm going to get a good cook. She's not a good cook. One off. Well, actually, she's a great cook. But no, but if I would create a list, the do's and the gains and the losses. What if most people? Why are 60% of people getting divorced today? Because they got married for one reason, then they got married. They realized the whole reason is like hayav alei nivra. Whatever they thought that they're going to gain, it's no gain. The Torah doesn't want you to get married for gain. They want you to get married for purpose. And I cannot do my purpose in life without my wife. And I cannot do my purpose in life without my family. It's not my wife now. It creates a bigger circle. Without my family. I cannot do my purpose in life without this community. I cannot do my purpose in life without every Jew. I cannot do my purpose in life without the world. I cannot do my purpose in life without everything in this world. I need everything. That's why a person should say, B'shvili nivra olam. Every person said the whole world was created for me. Because everything I need everything in this world to fulfill that purpose in creation. There's nothing that can be. There's nothing in the world that can be taken out. Oh, we can live without that part. No. I might live without that part because he's bothering me, right? The physical side is bothering me, but I need it there for the purpose. I need the good and the bad and the ugly, all for the purpose of my creation. Yeah.
You mentioned, someone's struggling, so they're a slave. It's hard to just bring in the godly concept to someone who is a slave to their own sin, or maybe has an addiction, struggles with something. Have you even considered an insane person for doing the same thing over and over and over? How do you bring the godly concept of, hey, you have a purpose, and how do you guide them to discover their purpose when they're still,
Because you have to separate them from their addiction. We all are addicted. We have to separate ourselves from our addiction. That's very hard for us to do. Just like you have to separate yourself from your evil, from your negativity, whatever that might be. You have to be able to look above it. You gotta, what expression? You gotta look. Sometimes you gotta look through the forest from above, not from below. It's very hard to get out of the forest from looking from below. When you look from above, it looks much smaller. And so in yourself, you have to realize, yeah, I have negativity, but it's not me, and therefore, how do I fix this negativity? But if I think that's me, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to change one's character. It's the most difficult thing in life to change one's character, because it's hard to get out of the hole. One expression was a psychiatrist actually was listening when they said, the problem with depression and things is that people don't stop digging their own hole. They got to stop digging. You gotta stop digging. So either it's hard to get out of the hole. Therefore, the expression that when you're in prison, it's hard to free yourself. You need somebody else to free yourself. So therefore, number one is you need to go reach out. Very important to reach out. To go to a doctor. When you're sick, to go to a doctor. When you have psychological problems, go to a psychiatrist. Reach out. And God created all these things for that you should be able to reach out to them. What did God create them for? That they should help you. So they're there for. You have some people say, "Oh, I believe in God. I don't need to go to a doctor." That's not the Jewish belief. Jewish belief is you have to believe in God, that He's the healer, and then go to a doctor. Because a doctor is the messenger that's gonna be God's messenger, God's physical messenger to heal you.
How can the doctor heal someone who doesn't know they're sick? Or how does he approach that person, the prisoner, to go, you want to free them, but they don't even know they're in there?
So that's the first. You look at the expression of Chassidus, it says the first thing is you have to know you're sick. That's the biggest sickness in life, is when people are in denial. Okay? So therefore, what do we say Hashem Nebaganu every day? 3 times a day. twice a day. Hashem, no, we have sinned. Why do we keep on saying it? Because we don't believe it. We're saying it. We don't really believe it. We think we're perfect. Everything's fine. No. Things are not fine. Hashem knew. I've sinned. But God knew. Twice a day. 3 times a day. We say it at night a third time. So we say 3 times a day. We bang our hearts. So we sin. We're not perfect. Think you're perfect. That's a problem. We're into the world of perfection. We all think we're tzaddikim. We'll try to portray this image of being such righteous people. You don't have to be perfect. Do your best. You don't have to be perfect. Even Moshe Rabbeinu, so to say, is not perfect. There's no perfection. God says, expression, when I'm right, I'm wrong. God says, I don't want to be right. Right? We say to God on Yom Kippur, don't be right. Move off from your seat of justice to your seat of mercy. Of course, when you're right, nobody survives. The Tzemach said it, the Lubavitch Rebbe said, what's the difference between a child and an adult? A child, right? You bother him, right? He wants to be happy. You take something away, he cries. You give it back to him, he's happy. An adult, you take something away from them, they'll be miserable for years, right? They'll be miserable for years. Because a child wants to be happy. An adult wants to be right. He's willing to give up his happiness just to prove himself right. You don't have to be right. You have to be happy. You have to make other people happy. You don't have to always be right. And the Eivishter says it himself, I don't want to be right. You said that on Rosh Hashanah, on Yom Kippur, over and over. I don't need to be right. Because when I'm right, then then everything disappears. Right? Everything is negative to the essence to God. Right? Everything is secondary. So everything. No, I don't want to be right. I want to be merciful. I want to be giving. So I want to be happy. I want to have the taiva. Why would I want to be right? I don't want to be right. I'm wrong, but I'm happy. I'm wrong. I'm giving in. I have mercy, and I'm happy. That's a taiva. That's why it says in the Sava, I will have a desire. Taiva is a desire. I have a desire. I want a taiva. I want a delight. I want to be happy. Right? Yesterday, Isaac says to Esav, "Go make me a delight. Make me happy." You're Esav. You think you didn't know who Esav was? Go make me happy. I'll give you a blessing. You don't deserve the blessing, but make me happy. Make me happy. I know you're not perfect. I know you're Esav. Go make me a delight. Go make me happy. That's what the Eivishter God says too. Go make me happy. You don't have to be perfect to make me happy. Nobody around this table has to be perfect to make each other happy. They will never make anybody happy. We don't have a perfect marriage to make each other happy. We have to give each other, we have to be nice to each other. We have to give each other delight to make each other happy. Small things that make us happy. It's not the big things that make us happy. And the same thing is that's a problem. Problem is that when a person is addicted, he thinks that he cannot, for whatever reason, it's so overpowering him, he cannot find things that make him happy. He's wrong. It's in his mind. He's wrong. And sometimes he cannot get it out of himself. He has to go to get help. And he has to get real help, and it depends how far his addiction is, etc. But we all are addicted in a way. And that's why we have to have rachmanis on. Trust me, you have to have rachmanis on people that are with addiction or any kinds of these issues, because you want to be happy that you don't have these addictions. God should never give anybody the nisayon of an addiction. You know, gosh never gave anybody the challenge of an addiction. Terrible challenge that a person can have. And you have to have mercy on such kind of people.
Last year you had a Divrei Torah, this segment of the Torah, and you said that we all sometimes have to have a little Asa in us. That sometimes there's a right time for that.
Well, yesterday I said you have to love Esav.
You have to love Asa.
You have to love Esav. Yitzchak loved Esav. You have to love the Esav sometimes. You're not going to change the Esav by hating him. That's for sure not. You need to change the Esav sometimes by loving him. And that's what you need to do. Now, there's always exception to the rule, but our own Esav that we have, which we all have Esav, which is our evil and our... We need to love it a little bit more. We stop being so critical about it.
Sometimes you need it to survive.
100%. Because why? Because everybody has a purpose. I think a guy gets addicted or people have depression because I think they feel that they lost their purpose in life.
Yeah, that's what Victor Frank.
And they feel that they have no value or somebody else has to give them a value. Here, Torah tells you God gave each and every person a value. And that value is unlimited. It's like you can't put a price to that value. Every human being is created by God. So every human being has a purpose, which is an unbelievable value. And you might say, oh, but I was born in a terrible situation, or I am now in a terrible situation. Still, you haven't lost that value. Still haven't lost it. That's why God tells Moshe Rabbeinu, so they're slaves, they're still Jews. So you're right, they're slaves. Doesn't change what the purpose is gonna be. It doesn't change, nothing. Nothing has changed, relax. That's the problem with humans, they want it now. Now, and it's true, we want it now, and we should push it for the now, no question about it. We should push God for the now, because we're losing. The Gemara says, yeah, God is a purpose there's a purpose in slavery, there's a purpose in exile, but how many Jews are lost in this journey? That's the sad thing. How many Jews are lost in this journey? Here we cannot lose one Jew, and we're losing Jews in this journey. So you might say, oh, beautiful, but Jews are, look at the tshuva and the repentance, and people are coming back to Judaism, blah, 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 it's beautiful. But we're losing one Jew, lost one Jew is a terrible situation. So we cannot wait one more day. We need to go out of Gullus today. Even though every day in Gullus, you're going to be able to enhance your purpose in life. But we need to get out of Gullus. We need to go march with Mashiach, take every Jew out of Gullus, and have no pain and suffering anymore. And have a wonderful and beautiful week. God bless you all, my friends. Find your purpose.
God bless you.
Find your purpose.